everyone, welcome to DaryaCrochetLife. My name is Darya. I'm very happy to see you all today because I have very cool tutorial for you today. I would like to show you how to knit hand warmers. It's spring coming and these knitted hand warmers are really good project for the spring and fall as well. It is very simple project and I think even total beginner could make these hand warmers. So to be honest, I really recommend this to be the first project because it's very simple, it's easy and it's fast, and as I told you, even beginners can make that, can make it. However, I need to tell you that as you can see, I used 3 different colors in these hand warmers, and if you're a beginner, so please use just one color. Make them plain, like solid in one color, just to try, just to know how to do that, just to learn. And if you're a more advanced knitter, so I think this color blocking, you definitely can do that. So I used Intarsia technique for making color blocking. Inside this look like that. Yeah, and I was knitting a rectangle and then I made a seam here, so leave a space for the my thumb. And this is pretty simple. So in this tutorial I will explain you all the details that you need to know before starting this project, and as I told you, I'm sure that even beginners can make it. Please subscribe to this channel and like this video if it will be useful for you, but I'm sure it will be very useful because I tried a lot to make it as useful as possible. Alright, here is everything that you need for today's project. So first of all, let's talk about the yarn. I'm gonna use as the main yarn the Drops Sky, which is one of my favorite brand, to be honest. And I'm gonna use it in 3 colors. This color is number 8. This color, light gray, is number 2, and I'm sorry, but I don't have the label of this purple anymore, so I'm really sorry. Okay, the yarn is Drop Sky and it is 50 grams, so this ball is 50 grams. We have 190 meters or 207 yards, and the content is 74% of alpaca, and it is baby alpaca, so this yarn is extremely soft, and it has 18% of polyamide and 8% of wool. So to be honest, this is like a cord, polyamide cord, and it has some wool and baby alpaca inside. So this is very soft and light yarn. I really like it. For hand warmers, I think this is perfect. Yeah, and the manufacturer suggests us to use 4mm needles or US 6, but we are going to use a little bit smaller needles, 3.5 millimeters, because I want the knitting be a little bit tighter. So if you would like to repeat my pattern, so you need 3 colors. One that we'll use for the cuff, and like here at the top, on the top of the hand warmer, and the 2 colors would be like as the main color blocking, and one of them we need a little bit more than the second one. So I hope this amount will be enough for 2 hand warmers. Yeah, I think it would be enough because this yarn has very good yardage, so that would be definitely enough. If this is your first project and you just begin, I don't recommend you to use Drop Sky. It is not beginner friendly yarn, so try something different and don't make Intarsia, because we are gonna make Intarsia hand warmers today, and if this is your first project, I really recommend you to take just one color. It would be better if this would be some solid, light, bright colors. So don't take dark gray or charcoal or dark blue. Take something light, because that would be easy for you to work with. And I would recommend you to take maybe DK weight yarn, maybe superwash wool, something like that. I think that would be perfect. And as I told you, I'm gonna use 3.5 millimeter needles. I'm gonna use circular needles, because to be honest, I really like it. But if you have just double pointed needles or one pointed needles, I think you can work with them too as well. And at the end, you will need some scissors and a tapestry needle in order to make this seam. All right, so I'm taking my first color that would be on the cuff. So we are starting knitting from this point. And I'm leaving about, 30 centimeters long tail. And then on this point, I'm wrapping around the short tail around the long one. Then insert my fingers in this loop, then grab the long tail and pull it through the through the loop. And then I can tighten that. So what I want you to have long, short tail, and then like slip knot that you put on the needle. Then we need to cast on using single cast on method. I want you to cast on 38 stitches, and this is our stitch number 1. Don't cast on too tight, and if you don't know how to make the single cast on method, it's very easy. So you hold your needle on your right hand, and with your left hand I'm creating a loop like this, just turning the working yarn like this and put it on the needle. And then I adjust the size of this new stitch and make sure that all knots are at the bottom. So I'm repeating this process. Now I have 3 stitches, and make sure that you are not tighten your stitches too much, and at the same time you are not working too loose. Cast on like this 38 stitches. Okay, I casted on 38 stitches. Make sure that all knots are here at the bottom, so don't do like this. Don't twist your stitches around, you see? Don't do this. No, we don't want this. So all the knots are at the bottom. So I turn my work, and now I'm ready for the knitting. I'm gonna knit in continental style, but it really doesn't matter what style of knitting to use. So use whatever is more comfortable for you. So in the first row, I'm gonna work the first stitch, and I'm knitting the first stitch. And then I begin the pattern, which is knit 2 stitches. Yeah, be careful, because the first row stitches are too weak, too loose, and you can slip them. I knitted 2 stitches, and then I'm purling next 2 stitches. 1 and 2, and I need to repeat this to the end of this row almost. I need to repeat this to one last stitch at the end, and I will show you what to do next. So 2 knit, 2 purl. I'm at the end of the first row, and I have 3 more stitches here on my left needle, and according to my pattern, I need to make 2 purl stitches, which I'm doing right now. Oops. One and 2, and the last stitch in this project I want you always knit. So in every single row, knit the last stitch. Yeah, and then be careful and keep track on how many rows you complete. So put your tally marks somewhere in the notebook, because you want to make the second hand warmer the same size, and you want to make the same amount of rows for the second hand warmer. It is very important. So I'm turning my work, and as you can see, the working yarn is in front. This is very important because we are gonna slip the first stitch from left needle to the right, and we are not gonna knit the first stitch. And I'm slipping it purlwise like this. So I'm insert the needle purlwise, slip it from one needle to another, and then I'm ready for the pattern. So, but first of all, you need to put the working yarn in the right position. Make sure that the working yarn will go between two needles like this, because the next stitch is knit stitch and we need the working yarn to be at the back. So that's why when I turn it to the back, make sure that you move it between two needles, that it will go between two needles. And then I repeat my pattern, which is 2 knit stitches and then 2 purl. And I will work like this to the end of this row, to be honest, to the last stitch. And as I told you, the last stitch should always be knit stitch. So work like this to the end of this row, and when you finish the row, don't forget to make your tally mark. I'm at the end of the second row. I finished with 2 purl stitches, and as I told you, the last stitch should be knit stitch. Always. Oops. So I finish with the knit stitch, then I'm turning my work, and I will repeat everything that we did with the second row. So basically you need to repeat the second row again and again. So don't forget to put the tally mark. You finished 2 rows. As you can see, like you can count V's. This is first and second. So I have 2 rows. So how to begin the next row? I'm slipping the first stitch purlwise. Then take the working yarn and let it go between 2 needles like this, and then begin your pattern with 2 knit stitches and then 2 purl stitches. Work like this to the end of this row, and at the end of this row you need to make 1 knit stitch. So, and basically this is how you are working with your ribbon. Yeah, and in total, the ribbon part should be 26 rows. So now I'm working on the row number 3, and that means when I finish this row, I need to make 23 more rows in this pattern. So I will make ribbon for 26 rows in total. Of course, you can change this amount of rows and you can adjust it by your preference. It's all up to you. So you need to try it on your hand and think how long you would like the cuff to be. So work like this until you reach 26 rows. Alright, so I finished 26 rows of my 2x2 ribbon in color A. In my case it is light gray color. Now I'm turning my work, and then we will start working on the main pattern in Intarsia. And I need to add new color, and first of all I will add, so I'm taking this purplish gray color, and I will use two tails, 2 ends. One I will take from the outside of the ball, and one that goes from the inside of the ball. So it doesn't matter which tail to begin with. I'm taking one tail and making a double knot. So I'm just tighten the new color like this. Make a knot, 1 knot first like this, then I can move it a little bit, closer to the stitch, and then take this small tail of the new color and make a knot with the old yarn. So basically you are making double knot, but you are using different types of yarn. Then cut the gray, the color A. For now you don't need that. Yeah, and we are ready for the main pattern. So in total we have 38 stitches, right? So first 14 stitches I want you to knit with this new color, and the first stitch I'm slipping purlwise, then I'm taking the working yarn, it goes between two needles, and I leave it at the back because and all these knots and tails will go at the back too, because we are starting the stockinette stitch, and in stockinette stitch in the right side we are knitting. So knit, let's count this as 1, so you knit 13 more stitches. Like in total it should be 14. So I have 14 stitches in new color. Let's pretend that this one is in new color as well. Then I'm taking my middle color, like third color, which is this one, and I'm making like I need to attach the new color the same way, so I'm making one knot here, and then I need to make another knot with the small tail and the previous one, like this. And don't cut this yarn, leave it at the back and start working with the new color, this pink one, and make 10 stitches. Yeah, so I have 14 stitches in first color and 10 stitches in second color. Then I need to attach the new yarn as well, so this would be the same color, like color B, the second one, but use other strand, like other tail. So I'm taking the second color one more time, and now I need to attach it to this like third color, and I'm attaching it absolutely the same way as usual, making a knot and then like make second knot, and don't cut the yarn. Now I'm holding the second color, all knots should be, all ends should be at the back, holding the second color, working with it, and I need all rest stitches, it should be 14. Alright, so what you should have after the first row in stockinette stitch, then turn your work. So here we need to have three main yarns that we are working with. Start with the first one and slip the first stitch purlwise, and then purl 13 more stitches to the next color. Then the main rule of Intarsia is that all color changes should be, like all knots, everything should be in the wrong side. In our case it is the side where you are purling. So I came to the new color, and this is my, so I have two yarns like this. My task is to make a cross to change the position, and this one, the like purple or pink or red, I don't know, so it goes down, and the old yarn will go up. Then you are taking new color, and you could continue working with this color, make 10 stitches, After making several stitches, in my case 3, I'm taking this old color and tighten this a little bit so there won't be any gaps here between 2 stitches. Okay, let's continue with this purple color. Okay, I finished the last purple stitch. Everything should be done here on the wrong side, all color changes, and I'm crossing the yarn like this and start working with the new color and work like this to the last stitch. Don't forget to make 3 stitches and then take the old color and tighten it a little bit so there won't be any gaps here. Work in purl stitches to the last stitch, and as usual make the last stitch as knit stitch. So knit the last stitch, knit the last stitch, and turn your work. Maybe you'll need to arrange the position of your balls after each row, because I really don't want all these tails to tangle. So that's why, yeah, I always check the position of the rows. Let me show you how to make the knit row in Intarsia. So the first stitch you slip purlwise, then take the working yarn and let it go between 2 needles on the back, and you knit to the place where you want to change the color. In our case it is 14 stitches in total. Yeah, and as I told you before, all color changes should be done at the back. So here I'm looking at the back, taking the purple yarn, crossing the yarn like this. So again, the old color will go down, the new color will go up like this. Basically I did a cross here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so it's definitely, you see, it's a cross here. Leave the old color and start working with the new one. Knit several stitches, 1, 2 and 3. Then I'm taking the old color and tighten this a little bit so there won't be any gaps here between 2 colors. Work like this to the next color change. And again at the back on the wrong side, I'm taking the new color and make a cross. Start working with the new color. Then I can tighten a little bit the old color, and I will continue knitting to the end of this row. So in total we finished 3 rows of our stockinette stitch. You need to work like this 32 rows in total. So we finished 3 rows. That means that we need to make 29. Yeah, 29 more rows. So repeat like last 2 rows, the purl row and the knit row, until you have 32 rows in stockinette stitch. So right now I don't count the ribbing, I count just stockinette stitch. Alright, my friends, I finished 32 rows in stockinette stitch in Intarsia, and this is what I have at this stage. This is my right side and this is my wrong side. And on this stage I can cut all of these 3 yarns. But before doing that, I'm taking my color A, the first color. In my case, it is this light gray that we used for the cuff. And I'm attaching it here at the beginning of the row. Attaching it the same way as usual. And then I can take the scissors and cut all these three yarns. I will show you how to how to weave all ends at the end, so no worries about this right now. So, and I have a little trick for you. We will have ribbon, the same ribbon 2x2 here on top of the hand warmer, but if you want very good color changes, so my advice for you to knit one row in this color A, just knit one row. Okay, I'm slipping the first stitch purlwise as usual, and all knots will go at the back. I don't want any knots in front. And then knit one row in color A. This is very easy, just knit all stitches. And when you come closer to the new color, you don't need to do anything special, just keep knitting, but don't be worried about this stitch is too loose, because we didn't secure it yet, so you can just tighten a little bit, and we will secure it at the end, so no worries if it will be too loose on this stage. I finished the first row in this color A, then I'm turning my work, and from this point I'm starting working on ribbon again, and to be honest, I will repeat everything that we did here at the beginning. So I'm slipping the first stitch purlwise, then I'm taking the working yarn at the back and it will go between two needles, and then I start the pattern by making 2 knit stitches and then 2 purled stitches, and I will work like this to the end of this row, and at the end of this row the last stitch should be knitted. As usual, as always, we have last stitch in every row should be knitted. So, and I'm working like this for 10 rows in total. This is my first row of ribbon here at the end, and I need to work 10 rows in total. So I think you can do that. All right, I finished 10 rows in ribbon, and here is what we have. I really like the result. And now we need to bind off our stitches, to cast off, to close the stitches, and I will show you how to do this. In order to have this edge like elastic, more flexible, you need to use this cast on method. It is very simple, and the main rule is like I'm slipping the first stitch as usual purlwise, then I see the knit stitch, so next is knit stitch, and I'm knitting the next stitch. Then I insert the left needle into the slipped stitch, into the first one, like this. And then I'm pulling the second stitch, this one, through this slipped stitch. Oops, and I lose it. One more time. Yeah, pulling like this. And now on my right needle, instead of 2 stitches, I have just 1. I'm looking at the next stitch. Next is knit stitch as well, so that's mean I'm knitting the next stitch. And I have 2 stitches on my right needle, but I need just 1, so I'm inserting the left needle into the first stitch like this, from left to right, and then pull the second stitch through the first, like this. All right, next stitch is purl. That is sign for me that I need to purl the next stitch. And I need to do the same thing by pulling the new stitch through the old one, through the first one. Next one is purl again, so I'm purling the next stitch and pulling the second one through the first. So the main rule is if I see the knit stitch, I'm knitting it. If I see the purl stitch, I will purl it. Yeah, I think this stitch, the yarn was split a little bit, so yeah. Don't work too tight, because your task is to have flexible and elastic edge. It is not very elastic. It is not not so stretchy. No, it's just all right, just okay. So work like this until you have just one stitch on your needle. I casted off my stitches, and you see the edge is pretty stretchy. It's okay. And I have very last loop here. So I need to cut the tail about, let's say, 2 times longer than the length of our hand warmer. I think that would be enough. And then I'm making this loop a little bit bigger and taking the working yarn like this and pulling it through that loop and tightening that. So that's it. We have tail here at the beginning, we have tail here at the end, and we will use those tails for the seam, because what we need to do, we need to fold the hand warmer like this in half. Don't look that it is too thin on this stage, because it will be, after washing, it will be much bigger, and it will be fitted like a glove on my hand. So basically what we need to do, we need to have our hand like this. Oops. And we need to have seam here to the thumb, like here, and then we will have a seam here before the thumb. So somewhere over here we need to make a hole. So what I'm doing right now, I'm folding the piece in half, right side facing down. So right side looking to each other, and we are looking to the wrong side. Then I need to take my tapestry needle. It doesn't matter from which side to start your seam, because to be honest, we'll make, let's say, 2 seams, one here, maybe to this point, but we need to try it always, and the second one to this point. So, and I will use mattress stitch. If you're not familiar with this technique, please watch one of my last videos. I show that very well, I think, because I don't know if it would be very visible with these yarn, but you need to join those 2 layers with mattress stitch. So I have this amount, I don't know, I didn't measure it, of my seam. Then I stopped. I didn't make the security knot here, not yet. I didn't cut the tail. I'm just trying it on my hand to see if I like it. And you see this cuff, it should be like here. It should end here like this. So this is the right position of the hand warmer. And I think the hole for the thumb should like begin from this side somewhere here. So I think I'm okay. But you know what? You always can make a couple more stitches if you need later. So that's why I didn't secure this tail. And then I have my tapestry needle on the other tail. And I'm starting this seam from this side. And again, I'm using mattress stitch here as well. So I have my seam here as well, and now I think it's time to try the hand warmer on myself, and maybe this is okay. So you can customize it as you like, but I think that hole is good enough. Yeah, and when you will make the second, like the pair of the hand warmer, and when you will make the seam, so you will use the first one as a guide, like for the length of your seam. So you don't need to try the second one all the time, just make the seam the same length. And now I would like to show you how to make the security knot here at the end. So like I need to repeat the last stitch. Last stitch was from this side, like this, and now I'm repeating it one more time. And then when I have a small loop here, I will insert my needle straight into that loop, and then I can tighten it very well. That's it. Then I can hide this tail using my tapestry needle in the seam. It is very good technique to hide to weave the ends in the seams, because in this case they will not pop up on the right side, which is really cool. And that's okay if this color, they are not the same. That's okay, no worries, because it's front side anyway. And you need to hide to weave all the ends the same way. If your tails are too short, you can use crochet hook for that. Yeah, and here as well, at the end of our Intarsia, we don't have any knots here, and you see it could be a hole. So that's why we need to have a knot here. I will use a 3mm crochet hook. So you can use any hook that you have, to be honest, but don't take too big size of the hook. What I'm doing, I'm trying to find any loop, for example this one. Yeah, oops, let me go from this side. Then I'm grabbing this tail and pull it through that loop, but not to the end. I will leave a small loop here, insert my hook there, grab the tail one more time and pull it through that loop, and then I can tighten that. So I have a knot here, and right now there is no hole, everything is good. And I can hide this tail because it's very short. It would be very complicated, tricky to use the tapestry needle, so that's why you definitely need to use the crochet hook. That's why even if you're not crocheting or just knitting, probably you need to have a hook. I would recommend you to take maybe 3 or 4mm hook, just for the purpose of finishing your projects and weaving your ends. This is a little bit how to say, the work is much slower, than when I use tapestry needle, but the result is the same. Yeah, I think that's enough. Then I'm taking the scissors and cutting the tail like this. Yeah, and now I need to do the same thing with all of my ends. And here in this project I have lots of ends, but that's okay. So I will hide these. Again, don't forget to make a knot here and then hide it here on this seam. And all these knots will be hiding in this seam. So it's always good to hide your tails in the seams. And then you need to make the second hand warmer, and that's it, the project is done. All right, my friends, I finished 2 hand warmers. You can see them right now, and I really like the result. They are soft, they are warm, and I really like all of these 3 colors together. Let me know what you think about these color choices. Actually, if you have any questions about how to knit these hand warmers or any other questions on knitting or crochet, please leave me a comment. Please like and share this video if it was useful for you, and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to ring the bell so you will receive notifications about all of my new videos. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Happy knitting. Bye bye.